Hey guys, so this is that video that I was talking about that I was going to put out that I posted about on Instagram, Facebook, and on my YouTube channel about, I was going to explain about where I've been. And I've written down all my notes and put it all in order into a cohesive one file so that I can, explain this because it's kind of in depth. There's a lot of things that I'm not going to go into detail about. I will bring it up, but I'm not going to go into detail about it because there's just honestly no point since it's over now. There's no reason for me to. But this is the first time in a long time you've actually seen me sit down and have a talk with you all. And there's a reason for that, which is what we're going to get into now. So, as many of you know, if you've followed me for a long time now, or maybe you just now started following me and watching my videos, then you probably came across a video about my grandfather in 2021, about how he was in the hospital and he was sick. And then I did an update video about how he was progressing at the time with his recovery from being sick. And not too long after that, in August of 2021, I had made a post in honor of my grandfather, since he had at that point passed in August, because he passed on August 3rd, 2021 at 3 o'clock in the morning. I'd made a post saying, hey, I'm gonna take some time away from YouTube so that, I could just kind of have a reset, and you probably saw my grandfather in a good bit of those videos, and I'm very, very thankful that I have those videos of he and I working together. And, after he passed, I made that public statement saying that I was stepping away and taking some time off. The Orca rebuild project was and always will be our project and our dream. Okay. But now I'm having to finish it on my own, and it's been challenging, but it's part of a process when you're one man doing the work of an entire crew. So I took the time away for a reset, and then I got back into the build, and that was in October of 2021 when I started getting back into it. Well, not terribly too long after that, I found myself tied up for nearly 2 years until 2023, handling my grandfather's estate, which took time, money, and a lot of energy out of me to do. And during that period, I kept working on the boat and I kept filming, but I fell behind in editing and uploading videos, and that's on me, and I own that mistake. That's entirely on me. And in the fall of 2023, I moved into a new home, which was exciting. But right after that, life threw another curveball at me, one that I was not expecting. It was completely unexpected, matter of fact. Let's just say that logistical challenges came up regarding where my project was located. It was a similar situation to what Leo experienced when he was rebuilding Tally Ho over at the Samson Boat Company YouTube channel. And it became clear to me that relocating was the best long-term solution. So I focused all my time and energy on that to make it happen. I won't go into any unnecessary detail. Like I said, what's done is done, but I've learned a lot from that period. Sometimes bureaucracy and creativity don't mix too well. I took the high road and I handled things professionally and through the right channels, and I moved forward. So yes, that chapter is completely closed, and like I said, I'm not going to go into it in its entirety. There's no point now, like I said, because it's done, it's over with. I don't have it over my head. I don't have to worry about it. After all that, I focused on finding a proper home for the Orca rebuild project. So from May through July of 2024, I searched for the perfect spot to relocate the project somewhere that was peaceful, private, and boat friendly. That July, I found it. Nearly 2 acres of private property. It's on solid ground, and it's located in the beautiful state of Florida, which I've always said is where I was going to move the boat to eventually when it was done. It just happened to come a lot sooner than I ever thought it would. And I walked the property and I made an offer on it, and I closed a month later in August of 2024. And here's the best part about this. I can work on the boat and make noise between specific daylight hours. I've spoken with the local government and actually had a very pleasant conversation with a gentleman over the phone, and everything is okay, which is a giant relief to me. It is a giant relief to me. I can actually sleep at night now. So right as I was preparing the site on the property to be cleared of trees in fall of 2024, Florida was hit by hurricanes Debbie, Helene, and Milton. There were trees down, lines down, flooding everywhere, but thankfully my area was spared the worst of it. Thank God. So what had to happen was I had to wait my turn while recovery crews helped others that were in need, and I was totally fine with that. I mean, they were a priority, and priorities matter. Once the property was cleared and everything finally clicked into place, so to say, it was perfect. So in September of this year, and being 2025, I scheduled transport for the boat, and on the 16th, she officially made her way to her new home in Florida. Now she's safe, secure, and right where she belongs. Free at last, free at last. The past couple years have been challenging. Unexpected things happened. It was expensive and honestly a little scary at times. Actually very scary, quite a few times. And when you're trying to follow your passion, it's wild how fast red tape can tangle up things. And I did not realize just how fast red tape can go up like that. But I stayed the course, and I stayed professional, and I did it all by the books. Everything was handled properly, and everything's good now, which I'm glad that I can say that. Now, I'm gonna clear up some rumors here that circulated online, specifically in my YouTube comments. First, I've not abandoned the Orca rebuild project. No, I've not run out of funding for it. And probably the most insane one that I saw on there, because I get the other two all the time, but this one was utterly insane. My jaw hit the floor when I read it. And it was somebody in my comments, and that person has since removed the comment, actually, once I responded to them. But if they would have took the time to look at my channel, they would see that I was active in responding to people in questions, and whether it was about the build, about how I was doing, about the Book of Quint, which I'll get to in just a second, and things of that nature, they would have saw that I was actively responding. But the specific rumor that I'm talking about is that I was dead. That's insane, firstly. I mean, obviously I'm here, I'm not. And what had happened was somebody had found my father's obituary. So for people that don't know, my father died in 2009. And somebody had found his obituary and thought it was mine because we share the same name. The only difference is my middle name is different from his. But this person, and I understand why they thought that it might have been me, but they didn't look at the date. They thought it was me. And I just want to clear that up, which me making a video now does that within itself. So the video itself is answering that own question, but I'm not dead, obviously. So to the person that commented that, I appreciate your concern, but I am okay, I'm fine. I'm living and breathing. I'm doing okay. So going back to the other two comments of I abandoned the project or I run out of funding. First of all, I've never fully stopped working on the boat. Did I pause? Yes. Abandon it? Never. I've always done things since my traditional type videos were coming out. I've always done things towards the boat, to the boat, and done things along the lines with Jaws. So I've never abandoned the project itself, the Jaws community for that matter. And you know, I can see where people would get that idea of me not posting a video. Like I can see that, and you know, I understand that. And you know, as a fan myself, you know, I know how it feels to wait for something that you're passionate about. I mean, it's kind of like when Star Wars Theory, the YouTube channel, dropped the first episode of Vader Shards of the Past in 2018. Phenomenal fan film, by the way. Theory, I love your videos if you just happen to see this. We've all been waiting for part 2 and part 3 ever since the release of episode 1 in 2018. So from a creator's perspective, I get it now, more so than a fan. Projects evolve and real life happens. It's just how the cookie crumbles. And like Roy Scheider said while filming Jaws,
one of the reasons why it takes such a long time to make a picture like Jaws is because it's not the time it takes to take the take that takes the time. It's the time it takes between the takes that takes the time that takes the take.
So you can't rush art. So again, I have not abandoned the Orca rebuild project. You have my word on that. So enough with the doom and gloom. We're gonna get into the really great things that happened in these past 4 years. Not everything since 2021 has been rough. Like I said, a lot of great things have happened. I started my Etsy shop, which is Quint Shark and Shack. There will be a link below. I created it in 2021. That same year in December, I connected with someone who has become a brother to me, and that person is Ryan Dacco, the author of the Book of Quint and the host of the Jaws Obsession podcast. We teamed up and wrote the Book of Quint, and later launched Amity Point Publishing and brought the Book of Quint to life with the permission of the Benchley estate in 2023. And the book is now sold out 3 times, which is phenomenal. It also has a physical edition, a digital edition, and an incredible audiobook narrated by John Waters. He is awesome. Over 20 different voices in the audiobook. It's truly phenomenal what he was able to do with what we wrote. And you can find the book currently, physical copy, at the Edgartown bookstore, Martha's Vineyard. You can look up their website. They may actually have it listed on their website now. If not, you can call them and order it over the phone, and they'll get it to you as quick as they can. It's in high demand right now, so I'm not exactly sure how many copies we have left. Ryan actually went to Martha's Vineyard not too long ago and dropped off more copies of the Book of Quint for them to have, because they sold out really, really fast since June, which again is incredible. And for everybody that's read the Book of Quint, thank you for all the support to Ryan and myself with the Book of Quint. You can find the audiobook on Audible, Spotify, all the usual spots. And the Jaws Obsession podcast, which we're really proud of, is now in the top 2% of podcasts in the world. That is almost unheard of for a podcast about a singular film or a film series that people go in depth into. That is almost unheard of. And it's in the top 2% of podcasts worldwide. It's heard on 6 continents. There will be 7, hopefully soon. We're still waiting on the scientists somewhere in Antarctica to listen to it. And this past summer, Ryan and I were honored to speak at the 50th anniversary celebration of Jaws on Martha's Vineyard and sign books at the Edgartown bookstore while we were there. That was amazing. It was a great turnout, not just for us, but for the island as well, and for the Jaws community. During all of this, I've also worked with the Academy Museum of Motion Pictures in Los Angeles for the Jaws 50th anniversary exhibit that they have. I collaborated with Nick Mara, who worked on Lake Placid, Jurassic Park, numerous other films, TV shows, in order to create the first true-to-scale Ben Gardner head replica from the film. I also worked with the Martha's Vineyard Museum for the 50th anniversary, where they featured 4 of my prop items from my collection of Jaws. If you follow me on Facebook, Instagram, you've probably seen a good bit of those. That I was honored that they wanted to do that. I was actually shocked when I got a call about that from them. And I worked with Mike and Kathy Schultz at Shark City Ozark in order to have a full-size Bruce Finn replica made. And that thing is awesome. And it was a lot bigger than I actually thought it was, because I've never seen one of the sharks in its full entirety. I've never seen one. So when I picked the fin up from them, it took me back how large it actually is. That was quite the experience of working with them to bring this to life. And when I worked with Nick on the head, I made a replica of the hull siding of Ben Gardner's boat, The Flicka, and it actually made the news in Canada, and it made its way around several websites about the Martha's Vineyard Museum and their exhibit for Jaws. It also made its way on TikTok, which was really cool, along with my harpoon gun and the mare's anchor jacket, which I own, and one of my barrels that I have. That whole experience was really neat, seeing all this, not just from my perspective, going to the museum and seeing it myself, but actually experiencing it through other people's eyes, through their phone camera, whether it was pictures posted on Instagram, Facebook, or on TikTok and YouTube. That was pretty neat. And I'm completely humbled that I was able to be a part of all this. And a buddy of mine that works for Universal Studios, the park in Orlando, had saw what I had done with the Ben Gardner head and the display, and they reached out to me and asked me, would I be open to building them a replica hull display of mine to send to them for their 50th anniversary celebration of Jaws in the theme park. And I gladly accepted that and made it, shipped it to him. And as far as I know, it's still on display in the gift shop with a few other Jaws items that are there as well. A lot is happening behind the scenes, and 2026 to 2027, there's a lot that is shaping up and coming together, and it's going to be a big next couple of years for the Jaws community. So yeah, this video was to partly explain my absence, but also to remind everybody that life sometimes throws unexpected waves your way. And the key is to stay focused and to stay calm and to keep moving forward. Whatever you do, you keep moving forward. So guys, that's going to wrap up this video. And if you think I've earned it, give it a like and subscribe if you want to keep up to date and following the Orca rebuild project and everything we've got coming. Thank you all for sticking with me through all of this and into the future of the project. You guys are really the best. Again, thank you.